Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. Today I'm going to talk about Bristle Face. Bristle Face is a 1964 television release about a boy named Jess who's found by a scruffy dog that he names Bristle Face and how they become best friends. It's directed by Bob Sweeney, cinematography by William Snyder, editing by Robert Stafford, music by George Bruns, and it's written by Zachary Ball. The film stars Phillip Alford as Jace, Brian Keith as Lou, and Jeff Donnel as Mrs. Yarkey. Cinematography looks good, pretty standard for 1964 television release. Nothing super stood out to me, especially because I feel like maybe like even Hector and the Stowaway Dog and stuff like that had better cinematography, so this feels very like average cinematography speaking. Music is very standard for a Disney television release at this time, sounds about right. Lou immediately offering for Jace to just stay at his house and be his business partner because he could tell it's just a kid who like needed family, a parent, I don't know, so sweet. Speaking of, both of Jace's parents are dead, and that is said on screen. The sheer amount of Disney movies that have scenes where dogs or an animal like a seal or any animal just cause absolute mayhem, like in a store, in a house, in anything, you'd think that was happening more than it is. But I don't think that was really happening that much back then. You know? I don't think so. And then the freaking scene where Jace gets attacked by a mountain lion in the water, that lion was biting his shoulder and he comes away with just like some pretty gnarly scratches, but Bristle Face is the one that gets like badly injured? No way! That kid was being bit on his, like, freaking body by this mountain lion. That was insane. That entire scene was so insane. This is 2 episodes, back to back. The first one's kind of about, like, him and Bristle Face bonding and training and, like, dealing with the mountain lion attack and all that kind of stuff. And the second episode is much more, like, them trying to keep Bristle Face and kind of fight to keep Bristle Face, and also like Brian Keith running for sheriff on accident and all this kind of stuff. And then they said a few times in this movie, women ain't got the vote yet. Gross. How is that even a thing? Well, and then to think, people don't realize just how recent some of that stuff is. Like how recent women and people of color got the right to vote. I'm gonna leave it there. Favorite part? The fact that they became a little makeshift found family. That was my favorite. I was hoping that from the beginning when Lou offered for Jace to work with him, and then Mrs. Yarkey was in the picture, and I was like, I just want them to become a little family, and they did. It was my favorite. My least favorite were any of the dog fights between Bristle Face and Deputy. Those were horrifying. I feel like, how do you train that? I feel like the dogs were fighting and it was awful. Recommend? I mean, this is what I put. Not really. More than some, less than others. Like, I guess. Go ahead. It's not as bad as some we've watched, but it's definitely not as good. It's not like a hidden gem by any means. You know how I feel about them hidden gems. Watch again? I don't think I'll be doing that. I'm alright. I love me some Brian Keith, but he's in way better movies, you know? No thanks. Specific moments. I think the thing that made me laugh the most was Jace playing Lou and Mrs. Yarkey off each other. How he would like say to Lou like, oh, well, Mrs. Yarkey said this about you. And then he'd go to Mrs. Yarkey and be like, oh, well, Lou said this about you. When, no, neither of those things happened. He was just knew they cared for each other and he was trying to get him to like, you know, make a move. That was so funny. And then everyone in the town and their little makeshift family fighting to keep Bristle Face was super cute. I feel like they kept giving this, I feel like this dog is like a
German wire-haired pointer.
Because he's got the wiry hair on his face, which is why they call him Bristle Face. And they kept saying he's not like a foxhound because he wasn't like a bloodhound or, you know, coonhound or a foxhound or anything like that. And so they're like, he's not as beautiful, he looks scrappy, like, you know, whatever. And I'm like,
German wire-haired pointer.
These are great bird dogs, so I have no doubt that he could be a fox dog. Anyway, I also loved, like, Lou just basically becoming, like, a dad for him, because, like, when he stayed with Jace overnight waiting for Bristle Face to come back, just so good. So good. This was very sweet. It's 2 episodes melded together. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I have no complaints, except that it's also like semi-boring in some parts, and it's fine. It's about average. It's like middle of the road. It's not as bad as some we've watched where I'm like, oh my god, can I just go to sleep? And it's definitely not as good as others I've seen that I'm like, this is a hidden gem. So it's right in the middle. So that's everything. My final rating is 5
German wire-haired pointer.
out of 10. Our total movie count is. Our pure and death toll is. Cry count is still the same. If you want to keep up with the movie I'm watching when, follow me on Instagram or Twitter. You'll find out what movie I'm watching when. I put out videos every Monday and Friday and sometimes Wednesday. Join Patreon. I have a tier starting at just $1 where you get every video a week early and a coupon code for merch. And the tier above that is the most popular tier I have. It's the Goofy tier. It's $5 a month. You get daily trivia. You can make a patron request. You get a coupon code for merch. Every tier gets access to exclusive patron merch. The daily trivia is super fun during June. It's every single trivia question is an audio, so you have to guess the audio clip. All of May were pictures. That was fun. Otherwise, buy merch. Merch is great. Merch is grand. This is OG. Until next time, comment, like, subscribe. I'm not in charge of your life. You are, so you do. And don't be the sheriff about it. Ugh, he was awful. I have finished. Thank you. Good night.